am an adult. Video games are for children. Video games are for children. Video games are for children.
Welcome, Schmelcom. I'm Winnie. This is Winnie on Screen. It's a 3-day weekend. I'm going to spend it relaxing and, waiting to see if TikTok dies. Probably do some writing, some editing, and, play some video games. A couple hours, who knows? I get a lot of enjoyment mashing these buttons. The same way you should mash that like button and subscribe to the channel. And I want to talk about my favorite video games based off cartoons growing up. I was going to keep it in consoles, but then I remembered all the games that Disney Channel, Cartoon Network, and Nickelodeon had on their websites back in the day. And I'm like, we got to add that because those are some bangers. Plus it helps the video have a little more variety that way. So let's talk about my favorite games. Starting things off, we got Rugrats Search for Reptar on PlayStation. As a kid, I love playing this game. I feel like if I play it as an adult, the mechanics might piss me off a bit. Like, you would lose health by accidentally running into a wall. And I get it, they're babies, they're fragile, so it comes with the territory. But when you play in Chucky and you gotta win a foot race between Phil and Lil with no glasses, it's frustrating. When you start hitting annoying mechanics aside, playing your favorite episodes through gameplay was an absolute treat. Mirrorland, the killer toy robots, plus you can play Reptar if you find all his missing puzzle pieces. My least favorite level was the Wild Goose Chase because that goose was f***ing terrifying. Like, look at that. No thank you. Definitely one of those you had to be there to experience type PlayStation games, but if you played this growing up, let me know how you felt about it. Next is the 625 Sandwich Stacker on DisneyChannel.com. Y'all don't understand the chokehold that this computer game had on us as kids. This dude has the same strength and intelligence as Stitch, but he wants to spend his time making sandwiches. 625 is single-handedly responsible for why we have simple pleasures in life. Next up is Simpsons Hit and Run. And the title of the game says it all. It was a hit. The creators were like, do Grand Theft Auto, but make it Simpsons. And they just ran with it. It was perfect. The levels were fun. The dialogue was hilarious. I was so afraid to ask my parents for anything that I had to borrow this game from one of my best friends in elementary school and hide it just to play it. And for a game in the early 2000s, these graphics hold up pretty damn well. Yeah. Woke up looking for the broccoli hockey. Keep the... The next game was Kids Next Door Operation Startup. This was on CartoonNetwork.com. And it was really fun. Every member of the Kids Next Door was a level. And in each level, you are grabbing supplies because your treehouse has been overrun by adult tyranny. So you just run through the treehouse, try to avoid the villains and any obstacles that they got ready for you. And you pick up these supplies to build your weapons, and then you get in these cool little boss battles with them. My favorites were number 5s and number 1s, and number 2s. Another Cartoon Network video game I enjoyed was my boy, Samurai Jack. I painted that. Samurai Jack Battle Through Time came out on PS4 in the year 2020. And I know that was a pretty dark time for a lot of us. Specifically because this game came out while we were all quarantined in the beginning of the pandemic. So I had time on my hands, so I decided to play it. And man, Jack looks good. The game had a skill tree set so you can improve on Jack's moves, including jumping good. And he had a wide range of weapons. You didn't just have to use his sword. If you wanted to, you can make Jack throw hands and hands only. You also get a chance to see special guest appearances from favorite characters and villains, like Scaramouche. So the game starts at the climax of Season 5, where Samurai Jack and Ashi defeat Aku, but in the game, Aku separates Jack and Ashi. So you have a chance to play Season 1 through 5 before finding Aku again and defeating him. And the game is still pretty fun even after they opened everything back up during the pandemic. So if you're feeling nostalgic, go ahead, check this game out. Also leave a comment if you were a Samurai Jack fan growing up. Back to the old school computer games, we had Avatar: The Last Airbender with Avatar Arena. So you would just customize your bender of your choosing from whatever nation, and then you just duke it out with the other nations and see who becomes champion. I think Danny Phantom had a similar game to that for their Ultimate Enemy face-off thing, but Teen Titans Battle Blitz blew any fighting game like those out the water. I loved this game, and Beast Boy was my favorite, so I always played him. Now you know we gotta mention Dragon Ball Z Budokai, baby! This franchise was a hit back in the early 2000s. The "You Said Come See Me" in Budokai, those were fighting words. I also really loved playing Ultimate Ninja on PS2, and then when Storm 4 came out, I enjoyed that as well. Because this was a huge upgrade from the very first Ultimate Ninja. But yeah, Naruto was always a good time for me. Speaking of ninjas, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles on PS2 for the 2003 series was super fun, and it was multiplayer, so if you had another homie with you and y'all play together, it's way more fun. The hits didn't always land, and honestly, it felt like you took more damage than the actual enemies, but it was still fun. I still had a good time playing it. My favorite Ninja Turtle is Donatello. Now, if you remember this cartoon video game, we homies. Scooby-Doo and the Cyber Chase brings back so many childhood memories and so much fucking frustration. This guy, who doesn't even look appealing in the game at all, this is worse than the Goose from Rugrats. He is such an asshole. His boss battle is so frustrating, and the other boss battles are either really fun or too easy, and your only weapon of choice is throwing pies. That's it. But aside from that, it's pretty fun. Plus, Cyber Chase is one of my favorite Scooby-Doo movies. I can make a video of my top 5 for y'all. Let me know in the comments. I don't know about you guys, but I was definitely that kid who was obsessed with video games based off popular movies growing up. I also saw that Totally Spies is back, and it's airing on HBO Max. Plus, they put out a video game not too long ago, so I'm going to check those things out and let y'all know how I feel. When it came to the stigma of watching cartoons and playing video games as an adult, I always had just one question about it.
Why do any of you care?
I like it. What more do you need to understand?
Video games are for children.
And for anybody that's about to come in here and say, it's a preference, I get that. I do. But in my personal opinion, it stops sounding like a preference when you belittle or look down on the category of people you don't prefer.
Before you decided to keep this going as a grown man,
right? Which I have made very, very lucrative for myself.
Now, I ain't saying there's no poor representation for adults that game, but there's good and bad representation for any group of people that have a particular hobby. But just focus on you. These ratings would not exist if video games were just for children. Digital gaming isn't just fun, it's therapeutic for some people. It's a great escape after a hard day's work. Even the most outgoing person can find a game they enjoy on their downtime. If somebody asks me what anime should they watch if they're interested in starting, I don't tell them the starters like Naruto. I would ask them, what are your hobbies? What do you like? And if they tell me sports, I would introduce them to a bunch of sports animes. I would do the same thing with games. Oh, you like to cook? Here, check out this thing called Overcooked. It's on the Switch. It's not just a bunch of douchebags playing Call of Duty and NBA 2K. There is a category for everybody. Now, if video games just aren't for you, totally fine. All I'm saying is don't make people feel bad when they're just trying to be happy. But thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Leave a comment of your favorite cartoon game you enjoyed playing growing up. Hope you guys enjoy your 3-day weekend. If you have to work on MLK Day, I feel for you. But it's your boy Winnie. Thanks for tuning in so we can tune out.